Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Rogues and Recaps. My name is Joshua Barbeau, I'm the Dungeon Master.
And I'm Natalie Wallace.
Natalie is playing the incredible, wonderful, talented...
way too nice to my character.
Percy, a moon elf blade singer.
Recently revealed to be a blade singer.
Yes. That just came out this last session.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of this last session...
What happened?
Lots of things happened. As I promised in our last episode of Rogues and Recaps, we were going to introduce Nick in quite a surprising fashion, and that worked out splendidly. Not only were the players really not expecting it, but... we
were also madly creeped out because how he did it was approach our window howling. So... it was a little too real. Yeah. It was awesome.
Their group is called the Company of the Grey Wolf, because there's a Grey Wolf in the party. He was howling at the window like a wolf, and it was a little creepy. But very cool.
Maybe the neighbors.
Our Forgotten Realms campaign setting. We had 2 exciting episodes since we last had a Rogues and Recap. Orlpar, the drug dealer who was selected by the vampires as a target of their high hunt, ran to his house where he was safe because vampires, as you know, cannot enter a home without permission. One of our players, Edron, had been charmed supernaturally by the lead vampire. And she convinced him that the best thing for everyone involved was to get Orlpar out of his house.
Problem is, Adron's normally a sucker for a pretty face. This is really in line with him, so...
Yes. What happened next is they concocted a plan. They started taking him along with several guards to the docks. The docks were quite far away. Waterdeep is huge, and they were on the opposite side of town, so it was a good 4-hour walk to get to the docks. Partway there, the sun went down, and when the sun went down, the werewolves and vampires came out to play.
Yeah.
The Order of Aster and the City Watch did what they could to protect Orlpar. Nevertheless, the vampires managed to slay him, so he died. But the heroes made out pretty good for their efforts. They got a lot of money. They got really well paid for their efforts, and Edron got a little something extra.
Edron got himself a vampire girlfriend, apparently.
Yeah, he got himself a vampire girlfriend.
Yeah, we're all still creeped out by that. We're gonna have to throw an intervention.
He's very cold.
Gross.
Anyway, that's what happened. So it was an exciting session, but there's a couple of things I want to talk about in that session. Those sessions, yes. We're recapping 2 sessions into one. But the first thing that I want to talk about specifically concerns you, Percy. Natalie's character, Percy, died.
In the raid that happened on the tavern when we found out Orlpar was the center of attention for this high hunt, I was like, okay, save the dude, why not? Try to get him out. Followed him into a secret passageway where apparently a bunch of vamps and werewolves, vamp wolves, went in, and long story short, I died.
She was killed by the vampire's blood drain ability, and if you are reduced to 0 hit points by a vampire's blood drain, effectively you're all drained out of your blood, and there's no coming back from that.
Percy's normally pale, we just got extra pale.
Yeah. So she died. What was that like for you?
Awful.
This was our first. This was notable because it was the first player death.
Yeah.
In this campaign, we've been playing for about 6 months now, and this is the first time somebody died.
I was in a lot of shock, I think, because it was like, oh wait, what? How? Like we've come close to death before, and it's been frustrating. This was just a straight up, I died.
No death rolls or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it was frustrating because I couldn't even blame the dice on this one. Well, I could a little. No, I was out of spell slots. I was out of everything. He rolled too high. I could not stop it, and it was really infuriating. In that respect. But afterwards, I was like, am I gonna become a vampire? Am I gonna become a werewolf? What's gonna happen? And my notes literally say that. I'm pretty sure my Twitter also says that because she was
live tweeting the whole experience. Check it out at Chaotic Rogue. On Twitter.
But it was really strange and kind of surreal, and I just became a really obnoxious ghost in my own player capacity. But I was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
And when an NPC stepped in to bring you back from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
One who you hadn't, your former mentor who had gone missing for
Yes.
the past several months and who you'd been looking for, came out of the shadows to bring you back from the dead. How did that make you feel?
That part was really amazing. I was overjoyed. I was ecstatic. Also, the fact that this is one less missing person I had to find suddenly. All it took was my death, guys. It was fine. But it was weird, because I kind of had a choice partway through that of whether or not I wanted to stay dead or stay alive. Percy elected to stay alive because she very much wants to destroy the monsters and evil in the universe, and that's just who she is as a person for reasons. But it was very surreal, and she's still not sure how she feels about any of it.
The thing about player character death is it always needs to be handled with care. Because you're dealing with, these might be fictional characters in a fictional world, but players, if you're doing your job right as a dungeon master, get invested. And you can really, you could really break someone's heart over killing their character. So it always needs to be handled with care. Likewise, you can't always, when they kill them off, wave your DM fiat hand and bring in an NPC who brings them back to life, either, because then that
lessens the importance of death.
It gets rid of the stakes.
Yes.
Stakes, but
Oh.
Vampires, get it?
Get out.
It definitely lessens the stakes if death becomes trivial and whenever it happens something inevitably comes along to bring you back from the dead. In this case, there are two reasons why I would encourage doing it. If A, it makes story sense for it to happen, and B, honestly, if the players are low level enough. She was level 2 at the time. And if a player is anything below level 5, they generally don't have access to their own means to bring people back from the dead. And so that's something as a DM you want to be aware of. Once they hit level 5, it's still difficult, but people can be brought back from the dead. You get spells like Revivify and stuff like that. But at that point, death sort of becomes a speed bump. But before that, death is a lot more permanent. And as a dungeon master who's playing in that tier of play, you need to be aware of that and provide opportunities for players to make meaningful connections with NPCs that do have the capacity to bring them back from the dead.
Yeah, like I owe that NPC my life right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I already did because my mentor took me in years ago, but still.
It's not a freebie. It's
No.
There are costs and consequences of this, but because you put in the work of making this NPC important to you, then it paid off in dividends. So that's what I think about player death, especially at low levels. What you should do. At higher levels, you could be less concerned because they can bring themselves back from the dead. The second thing I want to talk about is myths, popular culture myths in D&D, and specifically, in this case, we're talking about vampires and werewolves.
We've made so many Twilight jokes, it's not even funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So, how do you, as a player, handle the fact that you come with all this mythological baggage of what you already know a vampire to be from other fiction?
You have to start questioning your assumptions a bit, just because this is how I know vampires to be from pop culture, from books I've read. I mean, you could go to different book series, like how Dresden Files deals with vampires, and they've got different types, but you take all of that knowledge you have, and you have to question if any of it is relevant to what you are currently doing, or if any of it applies. Because we don't know. So in that sense, you have to make sure your character thinks through of, maybe I should research this like it was any other monster.
If you do have preconceptions about what a vampire might be,
you could make the stupid mistake of thinking, oh, I know garlic's gonna get them. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're actually, it's impervious to garlic. It doesn't do anything.
Spoiler alert, D&D vampires eat garlic for breakfast. I mean, it does nothing to them.
So that'd be a great example, though. So if I acted as if thinking, okay, let's get all the garlic bulbs in Waterdeep, that's not going to work. So I have to question my assumptions, knowing that this knowledge that I already have could damage my character. I need to think how my character would. Would they know anything? They should probably go read something. Mm-hmm. They should do the research. The other thing that's interesting,
the other thing that's interesting, because I got asked this by Colin. He's like, what would be reasonable for my character to know about vampires? And that's a fair assumption. There's a nice out there, mm-hmm. Especially given that vampires have so much relevance in popular mm-hmm. culture, that I can just take that and use that. I can say, well, look, the actual way vampires work in Therein, in the world of Forgotten Realms, might be different from how you know vampires from novels or other movies or whatever. But that doesn't mean the myths and the legends about those monsters are any different. So I actually use it when a player is saying, I am wondering if I know anything about vampires. I'm like, well, what do you as a player think you know about vampires mm-hmm. from various fictions that you've looked into? And that is a good place to start for what your character might assume about vampires. It doesn't matter whether or not those things are true to Forgotten Realms vampires, but it's just a matter of whether or not your character knows those things. And then that can be supplemented further by spending time researching. Yeah. This has been another exciting episode of Rogues and Recaps.
Exciting! I died.
You know, you got to see...
you got better!
You got better. If you like our videos, then you can like and subscribe. You can check out more content on our website, chaoticrogue.com. We have weekly content, blogs, and videos.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Hopefully I'm not dead.
And we'll see you next time.
I am...
Hello now.
No! Oh.
I am Mordenkainen, the powerful wizard of neutrality. I am a Libra, like you.
Go back.
I have to keep things in balance.
Go back to your mansion.
No.